people are considering to come to Australia to have their babies, like birth tourism. You know, the way you go to US and have your baby and your baby automatically become a citizen. Okay, so there have been so many inquiries coming to me lately about people wanting to come over to Australia to have their babies. Okay, so I said, why not make a comprehensive video to explain, instead of saying yes or no to their inquiries. Okay, so in today's video, I am going to explain to you what happens when you come over to Australia to have your baby, or when you are holding a permanent resident visa, or you're on a temporary resident visa like student visa and so many other temporary visa, and you have your baby in Australia. What happens? Okay, what happens to the baby? Is the baby going to be a citizen, a permanent resident, or not? All right, I know some people don't want to have baby yet, or they don't have any plan of having baby, but it's also worth knowing what your future holds. All right, so if this sounds like something you want to hear, please sit back and let's dig in. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Jane Kenny's Creation, where we keep it real. My name is Jane and I live in Australia. Thank you, my subscribers. You guys rock. And if you are new here, please do subscribe to my channel and become a member of this beautiful family where we keep it real, authentic, go and verify. So today I said, why not tell this story? Okay, all right. So many people want their wives to come over to Australia and have the baby because they can afford it, or some people that are on temporary resident want to have baby in Australia, but actually they don't know, because this baby is born in Australia, is it going to be a permanent resident or a temporary resident or a citizen? Okay, and also some people on student visa. I have an inquiry from someone. She said to me that she intends to come over to study in Australia, newly wedded, and she's hoping by the time she's coming that she'll be pregnant. And she's telling me that she hopes to have a baby in Australia. Probably that will be a quicker way for her to become a permanent resident or a citizen. Okay, there is a citizenship by birth. That is when you are born in Australia, but it depends. It depends on who born you, like who born you. It's not like that. But the thing is this: in Australia, if you're a permanent resident and you have a baby in Australia, your child will become a citizen. Like this thing happened to us, like my family. Okay, so when you talk about your parents, they're talking about at least one of your parents, either your mom or your dad. Okay, so if you are born in Australia and either of your parents, maybe your dad or your mom, is a permanent resident of Australia, automatically you become a citizen, even though your parents are still permanent residents. Okay, I'll give you an example. When I had my last baby here in Australia, we are permanent residents. So both parents are permanent residents. I'm a permanent resident, my husband is a permanent resident, but my last child become a citizen before us, like the whole family. That's kind of funny. Okay, when my last baby was born, he automatically became a citizen of Australia when his both parents are still on permanent resident visa. So you see how it is. So he become an Aussie before everyone in the family. That is life, you see. Okay, so automatically you become a citizen. So you can request for your citizenship certificate immediately and you will get it. I think you pay like $26 and it will be mailed to you like within 6 days. They will send it to your mailbox and you just pick it up and you're looking at, okay, I am a permanent resident, my child is a citizen, voila, this is life. Okay, today we have our citizenship ceremony. They were giving us certificates except my little baby. Okay, when we took our photo, you see he was not holding any certificate. He was just there having fun anyway, holding a phone. but there was no certificate. I remember some people asked me, why didn't he get a certificate? I'm like, whoa, he's Aussie before us. Like, he is an Aussie boy before the whole family. Okay, now what happens to you if you're a citizen? If any of your parents are citizens, it's okay, you're already a citizen, that one is fine. And they are temporary resident, one of your parents are temporary resident, the game changes. Okay, remember I said if your parents, one of them are permanent residents, the child automatically becomes a citizen when born in Australia, like automatically. Okay, and if your parents are citizens, you are already a citizen anyways, so that one you don't question it. They are permanent resident, you become a citizen automatically. Now let's talk about when your parents are temporary residents or one of your parents. So let's assume that none of your parents is a permanent resident or a citizen. Okay, you are not going to be a permanent resident. If your parents on a temporary resident visa, once you are born in Australia, you become a temporary resident visa, unless one of your parents is a permanent resident or a citizen. Let's assume you come here with visa 482 and you have a baby, which is a temporary work visa, or visa 491 temporary skill visa, or any temporary visa. You have a child here, like you and your husband are temporary visa holder, or one of you, rather none of you is a permanent resident. Your child will become a temporary resident. Your child will be on the visa you are holding, so automatically your child is holding visa 482 just like you, or visa 491 or visa 500 student visa. So if you are a student here and you are still on student visa 500 and you have your child here, your child is going to be on visa 500 student visa, unless one of the parents is a permanent resident of Australia or a citizen. Okay, so if you come here to study and you're still on student visa, your child will still be on student visa. And if you come here with a tourist visa, like people that want to come and have their baby, okay, so you're coming with a tourist visa or visitor's visa, which is temporal. Once you have your baby is going to be on that temporal visa, tourist visa or visitor visa. That's it. It will have a birth certificate, okay, but it's not going to have a citizenship certificate. All right, now what happens if the child stays, okay, or if the parent stays? Okay, so though the child will not automatically become a permanent resident or a citizen, but the child can still be a permanent resident or a citizen. All right, now how? Okay, so if you have your child in Australia and you are on temporary resident visa and your child stays in Australia for 10 years, at the 10th birthday, the child will automatically become a permanent resident. And if your child become a permanent resident, of course, you know it can turn your visa. It can do parent visa for you, and you too can become a citizen or a permanent resident. Okay, so when they talk about a child living in Australia for 10 years, it doesn't mean that he doesn't need to move out. The child can move out of Australia for 6 months or even more than, but as long as the parents are in Australia, because they say that at the age of 10 or within that age 1 to 10 or newborn to 10 years, the child does not have authority over where he or she stays. So for example, the parents can say, okay, go home, go back to our hometown and stay with our parents, or go to a boarding school in another country or thereabout. Is okay, as long as one of your parents is still living in Australia for 10 years, you will claim your citizenship at your 10th birthday. Okay, so even if it's become so hard that the parents couldn't change their visa and they keep living in Australia somehow and time is still going, once their child turns 10, the child will be a citizen of Australia, and it can decide to sort the parents out. All right, so it's still a way, but not automatic like the one of America. So my take is this: if you plan for your wife or for you yourself to come over to Australia to have a baby because you want the baby to be a citizen, just know that it's not going to happen automatically. Okay, the child or you supposed to stay here for 10 years for the child to become a citizen of Australia. Okay, so if you are planning to come and have the baby and go home, there is no hope. Okay, there is no hope of that child becoming a citizen, even if he comes back to claim that he was born in Australia, he was still going to go over and look for a visa like every other person. Okay, so there is no guarantee unless one of the parents or the child stays back in Australia for 10 years. At the 10th birthday, you get a citizenship certificate. All right, so it's always good to know what you are getting yourself into. That's why I always make video based on popular demand. When I get a particular inquiry or a particular line of inquiry in my inbox or in my DM, I try to make a video about it, because I know so many other people will be wondering about that. Okay, please have enough information and make informed decision towards that. Okay, so you don't say, had I known, if I had known. All right, it's always good to know very well. Okay, all right, so that brings us to the end of this video. So if you ever want to do this, now you know what it takes. All right, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel, and let's keep it real all the time. See you in my next video. Like my video too. All right, bye.